great
you to
guy.
be honest about Scott.
I'm telling you the truth. I mean, I can't lie. I don't have the authority to tell you anything other than the truth.
Okay, so now is any time to air any dirty laundry that you might have about Scott Nelson.
No, Scott Nelson is I'm a big fan of Scott's. I mean, Scott came on board, young man. I've been about 40 years in this business. Real customer service lit guy, up and coming potential guy in the industry for sure. Dude, would be a 40 and plus.
I need you to be honest about Scott.
I'm telling you the truth. I mean, I can't lie. I don't have the authority to tell you anything other than the truth. So,
Scott is good.
When you look at what PDK is bringing to the table with Scott and others, they've got the product, they've got the people, they've got the technology. They make installations easy, seamless, plug and play, ready to go. And the good thing about it is their service is exemplary. We had a customer just the other day, Brock, and it's a big customer of ours. Software problem. HR software didn't talk to Azure AD as it should. So your field engineering staff went back and they took it and they recreated the same problem back at Basecamp. And then they came out and solved the problem for the customer. So the end user was happy, you were happy in the long run, and they bought more product.
Man, there you go. So this is a little teaser into what this week's episode of the Big Access Podcast is going to be all about. So as you can see, we are here at ISC West, on site, showing off all of our latest products and talking to our amazing partners like Vytis Security, right?
Yeah, Vytis Security.
Vytis Security is here to talk to us today about partner fanaticism and what it's like working with PDK from on the sales support side of things, the tech support side of things, and then also on the hardware installation side of things too. So thank you for joining us, Mike. Mike, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and introduce Vytis and what you guys are all about.
Yeah, so Vytis Security Systems out of Georgia. I'm the CEO. We do nationwide business. It's access control, fire, bird, TV, intercom, but we're selecting our customers very, very carefully. We've put multiple ProdataKey systems in. Our customers are very happy with the user friendliness, the software. We're moving forward with product with PDK as our lead dog in the sled, number one.
So
what we like about that is the technology. And it's not just the technology play, but I've been in this industry 40 years. I saw access control 41 years ago. And you guys are now on the leading edge of developing product for the future, and it scales.
Yeah.
And so, we've got 45 door systems out there or more. I think the Scott Nelson on sales side is doing a great job.
Scott's
marketing,
fantastic.
yeah, Scott's great. Marketing's doing great.
Thank you.
When you think about companies you want to team up with, partners, PDK is definitely top for us.
I like to hear that as well. And so, another thing, you talked about tech support, right? Our tech support's definitely unique in the industry. We prioritize answering phone calls, 80% of phone calls in 20 seconds or less, and then also having a first call resolution within 7 minutes. That's our goals. That's what we work really hard to go after. Have you had any positive support experiences with us?
100%. You cut an incident ticket on service, you guys are on it within 24 to 48 hours with resolution. I get a call back immediately from Scott. I get a call back immediately from tech support. I haven't gone more than 2 hours without getting contacted back for any challenges. But to be honest, the product's solid enough where there's not a lot of support, after.
Yeah.
And so you guys warranty your equipment really well. We provide, installation service across the country with Vytis, and we do a lot of business, and we're planning on doing a lot of business with ProdataKey.
You know what? You bring up an interesting point that I don't think I've really ever thought about. And so I've always thought, it's crazy that we're able to offer these crazy goals and targets of being able to answer 80% of phone calls within 20 seconds or less. The reason why that's possible is probably because there's not many tech support calls that have to come in. I never put those together until you just said that.
I mentioned it because what you don't want to have is service-related concerns with your clients or end users. We go through distribution a lot for our product with you guys, but you price it special per project, and we get really good pricing.
Yeah.
The tech support side, I don't have very many technical calls to make on your system. Maybe locking hardware goes bad, maybe a gate controller blows up, something like that. But when you look at PDK's equipment, I had maybe one thing that got a little sideways out of all the installations we did, and you guys replaced it with an RMA, next day, 24
that's
hours.
awesome.
Yeah.
I like to hear that. So let's talk a little bit more about that installation process and how simple and easy it is to bring a controller online. So when you guys go out there to do an installation, what does that process look like for you guys?
Yeah, so first thing out of the gate, you want to get the COM node up, which is a big interface to all the controllers and get to the cloud. The reason why you want to do that first is because the customer has to build a database. They've got to do cardholder entry, they've got to figure out their access groups, they've got to do a lot of things like that just to build the database correctly. Then we can plug and play the controllers, whether it's an R8 or R1 or whatever it's wired up. You also have wireless, and wireless is really good. I've not been a fan of RF in my career, but you guys seem to make it work, and I like that. So I'll be continuing to do business that way. But installers aren't complaining. Wireless is cutting labor down, tremendously out there in the field. We're not pulling wire throughout the buildings, and it makes for a really ease of use install.
Well, and you talked about the wireless and changing. Every one of our controllers comes with a default network plug, right? You just plug a network cable in there, and the Cloud Node's going to be able to discover it. But if you wanted to change it into being a wireless controller, all you need to do is go and get one of those wireless module kits that's available in any distributor. You go ahead and plug that right in there, and that controller is automatically going to become a wireless controller for you, so that you can go ahead and have it create that wireless communication from point to point there.
Easy peasy.
Nice.
You couldn't have said any better. I'll talk about the readers for a second. You've got the keypad readers, traditional prox readers, and you got mobile. The phones. People are not even getting the phone out of their pocket. They're able to walk up there. Phone recognizes you on the right side of the door. If you're standing on the other side of the door, phone's not going to let you in. So it's smart enough to understand that. So customers like that. Schools are liking that, and we've been selling a lot of that mobile.
That's awesome. That's great. Well, thank you for joining us today. We are just about out of time on this week's episode, but Scott told me I had to do something with you before you left. I've got a little game that we're going to play.
All right.
We've got a bunch of cards right here, and each one of these has a different celebrity on it, and you got to give me an impersonation of whoever you draw.
Wow. All right, I'll give it a shot.
Okay, go ahead and draw one of those. You get Donald Trump. Can you give me a Donald Trump impersonation?
Wow, let me figure this one out. I don't know Donald Trump that well, but I will tell you this. Totally.
That was huge.
Huge.
That's great. I just got Sean Connery.
Nice.
So I got to do a Sean Connery impersonation. I'm going to ask you a question, but I'm shaving it for later.
You guys have a lot of fun.
We do. We like to have a good time.
You guys have a lot of fun. Thanks, Scott. Thank you, Brock.
Hey, thank you so much for joining us on this week's episode. For those of you guys who are listening to it, and if you haven't already done so, please be sure to subscribe to this podcast. Leave it a 5-star rating, and leave us any comments on anything that you're looking to learn, and we'll be sure to add that to our backlog. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining in. We will see you next week.